Mike and I are here with Starr from Flippin Hippos.
Hi,
She is
Starr.
based out of what was that?
I just said hello.
Hey! She's based out of the Pittsburgh area, and she runs the Mid-Atlantic Online Resellers Group and participates in multiple in-person and virtual events every month. How's everybody doing?
Good. I'm glad to be here.
Good, thank you. Yes, thank you so much for coming. Now just, give us a little background. How did you get into reselling?
So actually, this was my partner's business, and he was building it up to leave a toxic job, and I got hurt at work 2017 and became disabled. So I took over doing this full time. It was kind of a sink or swim. You replace your income or else, because I couldn't work outside of the home anymore. And then from there, we built it up together so he could quit his job and join me. And we did it together for 5 years. And he, again, wasn't happy. So he made another switch. And now he does accounting for a local business. And I do this alone.
Okay. How's that going so far?
It's good. I did a video on my channel, but the only real difference is that I don't see him at lunch anymore, because we always worked on separate floors because we are together 24 hours a day. So we made sure that we had some space. We do shipping together in the morning, and he leaves and he's home at night, by 5 o'clock. So nothing's really changed except we have more money and he's happier.
That's awesome. Which makes just the home in general happier, if everybody's happy in their work. Awesome. So what are your favorite things? What was that? Oh, sorry. What are your favorite things to sell? And do you sell on multiple platforms? And how do you handle that in your business, selling on multiple platforms?
I have a trifecta. I love plushies, stuffed animals. They're my favorite. But I also really enjoy jeans and jewelry. I just got into jewelry last year and I'm loving it. And it's really easy for me with my back issues to do jewelry. I sell on eBay, Poshmark, Mercari, and Etsy. We just closed out Keith's Shopify and Amazon because I didn't want to deal with those. I'm like, if you're leaving me, I'm not doing Shopify and Amazon. So we just closed those out. But we still have 2 eBays, one public, one private, and then the other platforms. And I use List Perfectly, not just for cross-posting and managing my inventory on all the platforms. I use it from beginning to end. I take my pictures in it, remove my backgrounds. My AI on List Perfectly creates my listings for me. It's like having an assistant, and I just proofread it before I push it out.
Okay. I think Mike had some questions about that.
Yeah, I was curious. I was curious about actually what prompted me to speak about List Perfectly with you is that we was speaking backstage about how we probably crossed paths 3 or 4 or 5 times in the last 5 years at the different meetups. Like I said, first time I had met you was at the First Boss, and I've been to pretty much everyone along the way. One that I missed, and I kicked myself in the backside because it was such a great one, was the List Perfectly listing party in Arizona. And the reason why I didn't go to that was because I don't use List Perfectly, so I thought that I wasn't eligible to go, which anyone was available to go.
Yeah.
And after the fact, I said, oh damn, because it was such a good time from what I heard. So if I could live vicariously through you, and you could talk a little bit about that camp listing party, and it's really funnels into how because I know Clara and Amanda personally, and they're really great gals, and they're really so supportive of the community. So I think that camp listing party must have been a great meetup. And then you have the virtual listing parties that run around the clock, right? So if you could just embellish about that a little bit, because I'm curious about it.
Sure. So I met Amanda and Clara in 2019 at an eBay Open when List Perfectly was brand new and only Teresa Cox used it. And so I came home from that eBay Open and started using it. And it was a lot different back then. There was no AI, no background removers. You had to do one listing at a time. Right. Now you can do, depending on your computer's power, like I have a gaming laptop. This is my World of Warcraft laptop that I work on. I can do like 50, but most people can do like 15 to 20. So I've been with them since then. I'm a very good friend. I'm an affiliate. I do make money with my code. Can I share that?
Of course, please.
So it's Flippin Hippos. If you guys want to try List Perfectly for 30% off your first month, there's a lot to List Perfectly. So there's the social aspect, and there's what it can do for your business. And I think if you just took those two things separately, your subscription would be worth it.
Right.
So let's take all the stuff it does out for the business and just talk about the social aspect. Your monthly subscription is worth that alone. So they had the in-person camp listing party, which they may have another one, I guess, in a year or two. I think I heard. It was the best, and no shade to Vicky and Katie because I love them and Boss was great. But camp listing party to me was the best event I've ever been to. And I've been to several eBay Opens, several Bosses, and both FlipCons that Harry Tornado held. And this was the best, but it could have been because the sense of community and the closeness within the List Perfectly community is different than any other community I've ever been a part of in the reselling world. And it's probably because of the virtual parties and we all see each other all the time. And it's almost like if you go into an office and have your core group of people, you're going to be closer to them than, say, the corporate. So my List Perfectly buddies, I'm closer with than my eBay buddies that I know vaguely. If that makes sense.
Because you see them on a daily or a weekly basis.
Yes. So
relationships.
The food was outstanding. They had it catered. It was open bar. There was dancing. I got to go in my pajamas, which everyone knows I'm well known for always living in my pajamas. And I just showed up in my pajamas. It was a really good time. And it was the first time a lot of us were seeing each other in person after years of seeing each other virtually. And there's just a sense of camaraderie. And I got stuck in an elevator with some friends.
At least you're with friends.
Yeah, and Clara's outside the elevator talking us down, like, you'll be okay. The firemen are here.
Oh my God.
It was just a great experience. And then the listing parties, the virtual parties, that's what your subscription is worth, I think. Even if you didn't even use it to list, they're around the clock. There's one Zoom room open 24 hours a day that has no topic. You can just go in if you're stuck. If you have a question, I need help with Etsy shipping, or my Macari's doing this, or should I source this? I'm at the thrift. Can you guys look at this? But daily, there's topics. And I like to call it the reseller college or university. If you can think of a topic related to reselling at all or any platform, somebody that's part of List Perfectly is hosting the party. And it's all peer hosted. So it's not like the List Perfectly employees do host some, but like anybody can host it. You can be like, I've been selling ephemera for years, so I'm just going to start a class on teaching other people how. And you just start it. So there's every topic you can think of. There's somebody teaching you how to do it. And they have a daily 411 with their coders and tech people from List Perfectly if you need help with the platform. They have a daily one every morning called Mastermind, where they have goals and accountability and meet every single morning. And then I host a couple that aren't reselling related because I'm really big, you guys probably know, on the work-life balance. So I host one weekly on Wednesday nights where we craft. And Fridays, I host one on true crime. And we talk about different crime every week.
Sounds like fun.
It is fun. Let me show you what I'm working on.
Oh, yeah, please.
If I can get it off of my shelf. I'm building a book nook.
Oh, got that. Wow.
Yeah, because I'm a huge book nerd. So it's Harry Potter's library.
Oh, my God.
The desk wants to come off.
Wow.
But this is what I'm making every week in the party on Wednesday nights. But some people just bring puzzles or coloring books. Some people knit. Some people make stuff to sell on Etsy even. So,
oh, awesome.
It's a good time. Yeah.
Is that wood?
It's wood and stickers.
Oh my God.
I bought it off of TikTok because all the book talkers are doing it. And we all know I'm a huge book nerd, right?
Yes, yes. Oh my gosh, that is really cool. How close are you to getting that done?
Oh, nowhere near.
Okay.
They're as big as a hardbound book when you're done, and they're 3D all the way back, and they have a dust cover and lights and everything.
Right, sounds like fun, and that's a good thing to do. I mean, like we all know that the reselling game can be a little dry. You know, I mean, we all love it. I think if we don't all love it, we wouldn't be doing it. But that said, it is like a little stale from time to time. So if we can, like, that's why the meetups are great. We get together, get out there, do a little traveling, let our hair down, and in the interim, if we can incorporate things that are fun and enjoyable to ourselves, that usually lean into reselling anyway. Like you said, all these crafts lend themselves to, you know, doing some reselling on Etsy, you know, whatever. So the point is, I think it's important that we incorporate into our daily activities some fun stuff, you know, that might or might not, you know, maybe an adjunct to reselling, or might be totally, you know, on the other side of it. Like, you know, you like doing your serial killer show, right?
Yeah, we work while we talk, though.
Yeah, well,
we're all taking
that.
pictures and listing, but we're talking about something different. But when we're crafting, we're talking about reselling.
Right. No, I understand that, but that's just my point. I mean, you can still get work done and talk about an entirely off-topic conversation that you all enjoy doing, and it just makes the day go by that much more. Now, like, you know, so now you have that one list perfectly show about the crimes, the true crimes and all, and you knock out 10 listings and you don't even know that you're doing it because you're having a good time along the way. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's an important thing to do. So that's great.
And like we were talking in Messenger, you know, we're not one dimensional. You know, it's like you're not just a reseller. You have other interests and other hobbies. So that
and I think that's so important for people to remember that reselling doesn't have to be your entire personality. And it's very easy to get burned out. You have to find that balance, whether it's crafting, reading, watching The Office, going for a walk, whatever it is that you like doing, you need to do something every day for yourself.
Absolutely.
Especially working for yourself. I mean, it can just be all consuming, you know.
Because it's in your house.
Never leave it.
And I like to teach people to have a space. Like, I have a whole office. So when I leave this office at 6 at night, when I'm done working for the day, that's it. Unless it's Wednesday and then I come back into craft. But if you have a corner or a space in your home that's your office or your workspace, even if you don't have a whole separate room, you can set up a corner, your dining room or your living room. And when you leave work for the day, you can be done because it's separate. So it's important to separate physically as well as mentally, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a good point. Now, I know you are a big Dave Ramsey and Fly Lady advocate. How has following them affected your business?
Dave Ramsey, first of all, if y'all ain't following him, you need to go look him up. And Mary knows I love to tell people, even if you're not religious, you can take from him so much and leave behind what's not for you. He has a lot for everybody. And Mary and myself are both debt-free, thanks to Ramsey. I don't know if Mike is. I'm
debt-free.
Yay! 3 of us. Woo! I love it. That's, you know, Keith stayed at his job longer than he needed to back in the beginning because we were building the emergency fund. And it affects our business in the sense that I think I budget for my business the same way Dave has taught me to budget for my personal finances, and how I keep my books and how I double check you know how he always teaches, watch your money going on subscriptions and things like that, because they can add up and you can forget that you have 10 gym memberships that you never did. So I always keep an eye on, if I'm still paying for Canva, am I using Canva in my business enough to justify that cost? If I'm not, we just canceled MailChimp because I don't think I was using it enough. One newsletter a week didn't justify the cost, when I can pivot that into something else like Canva, which I use every day for thumbnails. So I think Dave Ramsey has just affected the way I approach money in all aspects of life. And then Fly Lady, if y'all ain't familiar with her, she breaks your home into 5 zones, and you spend 15 to 20 minutes a day in each zone decluttering. And once your home is decluttered, or if it already is, then you deep clean. So it makes your life easier so that you're not spending all day Sunday cleaning or once a year spring cleaning, because you're doing it all year. For instance, today after lunch, I cleaned the baseboards in the bathroom. Most people do that once a year. I do it once a month. It takes me 10 minutes.
Yeah. It
right?
would only take you 10 minutes if you're doing once a month. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a way to keep your house in order, decluttered, clean, always ready for company, always ready for an inspection. But it's always clean, and you're only spending, 15, 20 minutes. And I don't clean on the weekends. So I just take a chunk of time after my lunch each afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like to do it first thing in the morning. Some people like to do it in the evening. I also make my bed. The minute my feet hit the floor every morning, I make my bed, and that's because of her.
Okay.
And so I accomplish something every morning, first thing. I've already done a task that I can check off my list, and I can already start the day. So I like that mentality from her system.
And I feel like if your house is in order, and which for you is part of your working space, I mean, your working space is in your house, like it would be easier to focus on work and not waste as much time.
Mm-hmm.
Just following her. I've checked her out because of you, but I need to revisit her because I think that would work for me too.
I've been following her for 20 years.
Jeez.
Now I am aware that there's other people who do similar to her now, and there's apps on your phone that are games that do like the same thing. Like today you're going to dust, tomorrow you're going to clean out your dresser, and it's like a game you play. So there are other systems out there. It's just that I've been with her for 20 years, and I've even incorporated her, show you, into I have a bullet journal, my planner. And now I'm not going to be able to look like I'm organized because I can't find nothing in it.
I just want to, while you're looking, I just want to make a point about, there it is. That's good. Yeah. Make a point about that. I know, bringing it back to reselling, I think that's a great program to follow, because a lot of people in reselling, myself included, we got stuff all over the place. We're resellers. We got merchandise coming in, going out, whatever. It always piles up. And I, for one, know that if my place gets a little bit too messy and unorganized, I get immobilized, and then I can't do anything. I mean, I took some time this last spring when I really saw that I wasn't listing a lot, and I said, "Why am I not listing? I got all this stuff. I always keep a nice little backlog of operating stock to list." And what it was just all over the place. So I says, you know what? Let me just stop and let me just put a moratorium on listing for a week. And what I did that week was I just broke down all of my dead stock, all my inventory, and I organized it just like my listed inventory. I just took everything out of every box and I put them back in boxes with labels. This is hats. This is plush. This is housewares. This and whatever. And what I did was served a couple of purposes. It did make me well organized, and then once it was done, I was raring to go, because now I said, like, today I'm in the mood for listing hats. I went to the hat box. All my hats were there with my hat mold and everything. Because I'd go to one to list hats, and I couldn't find the mannequin, so they had one that. So everything was nicely organized and way to go. And what happened was, as I was organizing this stuff, there was some gems in there, like $100 items that I forgot I had. So I was triaging. I was pulling stuff out of my dead stock that I might not have seen for months or years. Put that on the side. Once I started listing, I had a nice stock of really premium items to list. So that 1 week that I took, where had I not done that, I probably wouldn't have listed much anyway. Because I wasn't listing that successfully because of that. But I took that time, and I really recommend that to anybody. If you get a little bit behind in your stock, just kick back a couple of days, organize it all, and then I've maintained that organized dead stock, so that and when I go to garage sales now, rather than just putting everything in one box in the pile or losing it and forgetting what I even have, I'll take all that stuff and I'll sort it out into those pre-listed pre-listed boxes, and that really helps out a lot. So I think this fly was a Fly Lady program will certainly help you maintain that organization in your business as well as in the organization of your home.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And what you're talking about is something else I like to teach people is batch work. If you're going to do hats, you need to just work on hats.
Absolutely.
If you're going to do jeans, you can't do one mug, one jeans, one hat and be proficient or have any type of speed. And my office is a mess right now, but I just bought 500 pieces from a friend who was liquidating. But I have a box of pants, a box of shirts. It's like all sorted, just like you're saying, so that I can do batch work. But yeah, I buy most of my stuff wholesale. So most of the time my stuff will be, I just bought a box of plush. So they're all together. Jewelry stays, but she's sending me boxes of all kinds of stuff mixed in, and I got to sort it after I do my unboxings. But that was a nice buy. That's another good part of community. You get to know people, and I have bought a wholesale purchase of Build-A-Bear clothes from her, jewelry, and now her clothes, because she does storage units.
Oh, nice.
And she contacts me, and now she's liquidating everything to move back to Oregon. And I'm putting her, like the stuff I don't like or don't want, I'm putting her in contact with people who would want that stuff.
Sure.
And so community can lead to that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
We all help each other out. Like in that instance that you just mentioned, you're both serving a good service to each one. You're helping her out, she's helping you out.
Mm-hmm.
And you're paying it forward then.
Yes.
Yeah, because you're giving other people what you don't need. Yeah. That's awesome. What have you personally found is the most important benefit of meetups?
There's so much. So let's just go down a list. First of all, there's the socialization, because this is a very isolating job. Like Mike was saying, it gets stale. It gets lonely too. And now I'm home alone all day. So I feel what other resellers feel. I'm like, I can't walk downstairs and dance to Weird Al because he's down there listening to it, right? So now I'm talking to my stuffed animals. But it's socialization. And, I get to go out to lunch with my eBay group and just talk. And sometimes we talk about reselling and sometimes we don't. Sometimes we talk about a movie. So I like the socialization aspect. I like having something to look forward to because, again, your days. You get up, you ship, you list, you thrift, you do the same thing all the time.
They blend into each other.
Yeah. I have every Wednesday night to look forward to. I know it's crafting. I have every Friday to look forward to. And then we do my local eBay meetup group. Meets once a month for lunch, once a month to thrift, and then virtually once a month where more people come from all over the state, Maryland, actually all over the country. But I almost every week have something different happen. And I'm a creature of habit. I am diagnosed with OCD and I have a type A personality, and I do like routines and I like things in order, or it sets off my anxiety. But I also, if it's planned, I like something different. So you can't just come in here and say, we're going out to eat tonight. I would freak out on you because it's not. But if you say a week from tomorrow, we're going to go out to eat and I can put it in my planner, then I get excited because there's something to look forward to and it's different. So I like that it gives you something to look forward to, the socialization. But I think the most important part is the connections. So you have people that you can maybe buy wholesale from or buy out. And the learning. Just in casual conversation with another reseller, they could just say something and you could look at them and be like, How do you do your shipping? I never thought of that. And then you learn something new without even trying to learn something new, because we're all old dogs and we all have our tricks. But, I started jewelry just because somebody brought jewelry to a crafting party. And I'm like, what you doing? And they're like, well, I buy it from this lady on Etsy. And I'm like, well, I'm going to buy a box. And now it's like one of my favorite things to do, just out of so I like how much we learn from each other, whether you're doing it on purpose. You can share your screen at these meetings and show people stuff. Or if you're just talking and you're like, I never thought of doing it that way. Wow. So there's probably more. I cannot express how important community is. Whether it's in-person events, a local eBay meetup, listing parties with List Perfectly. Instagram has a really good community of resellers also. And there's Facebook groups. But I feel like there's something for every level of person. So if you're someone who loves to travel and get out, there's so many events out there for you to go to. But if you're someone who never wants to leave your office, you can have just as many events.
Sure.
There's something for every level of comfortability, I think.
Yeah. If you could just embellish that point a little bit, because I always make that point as well. Like, I'm rah, go to every meetup, and that's impractical for most people to do that. And some people like yourself, you prefer to not even have to travel, but you can do it in other ways, and you can create a little meetup as you do. So if you can just like expand a little bit on like for someone who might like be in that situation, who would like to reach out to the community and not necessarily want to go to a meetup, how specifically would you set up something? Now, I know eBay has a facility right on their site to set up local meetup groups. And I haven't looked into that myself, although I've been promising myself that I'm going to do that, to set up a local area here in New York. So you could kind of, educate me a little bit about the process of what's involved in doing that.
Sure. So sellerevents.ebay.com.
Right.
You can see there might already be one in New York.
Yeah.
When I moved back to Pittsburgh from Florida, we didn't have one. So I started one because my friend Cheryl in Tampa runs the Tampa group. And one of my friends from List Perfectly, Dana, runs the Orlando. And I'm like, now that I'm leaving, there's nobody here. So I just started my own. If you go on there and there's none for your city, you just fill out a little application. It's right there. Kayomi, she is our contact. I forget her exact title with eBay. I apologize. But she's our connection. She does the emails. They actually have a once a month Zoom call with all of the eBay leaders. And we get together and talk about how to attract more people, how to do this. They send you little presents.
Aww.
Swag, right?
Yeah, they send you swag. You can request swag for your group. You just email Kayomi. I got to meet her at camp listing party. I got to sit next to her at dinner and talk to her. If you start a group or you're in a group, every time there's an event, eBay's system sends an email to everybody like within 20 or 30 miles of you based on their database of every single seller on eBay and where their zip code is.
Oh, that's great. I wasn't aware of that. I knew that, if these different meetups are established, and as you said, if there's not one in your area, you can set one up, and then it gets posted for people to now go on the site, and check it out. But I wasn't aware of the fact that eBay does push it out, push notifications out. So that's great. I mean, I know you can do like what we do on to push out all the different meetups. Mary's been great at like posting on Instagram and Facebook. That would be another way to do it. But it's nice to know that eBay is supporting us a little bit in that effort.
So that's newer.
Naomi
told me about that at camp. It was something they were just starting. Brian Work used to be the head of like over her boss, and he retired. But it was something he did like right before he left, because it does, I guess it helps. Full transparency, I have like 3 people that show up to mine religiously every lunch, every thrift. But if I go on to the seller events on eBay, I always have like 15 RSVPs. And so people are seeing it, they're interested, they're RSVPing. They probably just forget or something comes up. But if I have 15 RSVPs for the virtual, all 15 come.
Right.
Okay.
So more people, I think, are comfortable coming from their office. It's Thursday evening. It's after supper. Kids are probably in bed.
Right.
It's just more convenient.
Sure. Especially if you're on the other side of the state, it makes it convenient to do that.
Yeah. So I have a Facebook group associated with mine as well.
What's the group called?
Mid-Atlantic Online Resellers.
Okay.
And I don't really work hard to get more people. I just put the events out there. But if you want a larger group, I can tell you my friend Cheryl, or you guys might know her, Jaya, in the community. She runs the Tampa. She was my girlfriend that I used to go thrifting with all the time down there.
Aw.
She puts ads out in the paper. She does the meetup.com. So she really advertises her group and pushes it out there. And she gets like 30 to 40 people.
Jeez.
That's
But
great.
there's a lot more resellers in Florida too, I think.
That's
Well,
nice.
and I knew that you did meetups in the Pittsburgh area, but I was actually on the eBay community events page, because I'm looking for things to promote on our Instagram and Facebook, and I saw Mid-Atlantic, and it didn't click with me right away, so I clicked through. I'm like, oh, Starr, and because your name and pictures right on there, so that was like, okay. And then I saw several coming up. Like, do you can you tell us about some that are coming up? I mean, I know they are on the eBay community events page, but do you happen to? Okay, well, yeah,
of course I do.
Of course you do.
I'm me. So tomorrow night is our virtual one. It's
Okay.
at 7 to 9 p.m. It's on the seller events page. It's also in our Facebook group. There's a link that people need to join it. It's just a link I created on my StreamYard.
Okay.
We all come in. We tried the Zoom, but if you don't pay for Zoom, you only get like a half an hour to a 40-minute meeting. I think it's not very long, and you have to keep hopping from link to link. And we only did that one. We have only been doing. Let me back up a little bit. So eBay opened this year. I had a room, which Kayomi lets everyone who has a meetup group have a room if you'd like for the networking sessions. Anyone can she'll email you and anyone can sign up. And a lot of people came that said Mid-Atlantic was kind of misleading, which maybe Mid-Atlantic is more like Philly area, Maryland, DC, up to New York. So maybe I did misnomer my group. But a bunch of people came and they were interested. And I have my friend Karen. She was my first member here and my closest friend. We do a lot together. She always runs the networking rooms with me. She's like, Starr, why don't we just start doing a virtual one? And I'm like, okay. So the first one was awful. We had to keep hopping from Zoom to Zoom call because back to Dave Ramsey, I don't want to pay like $100 monthly fee for something I'm going to use once a month.
Right. I don't blame
you. I
you.
already pay $169 for my StreamYard yearly, and I use it every day, all the time. So why not just we use that. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I'm very long-winded. Bear with me.
That's okay.
No. I mean,
I'm a storyteller.
We want the information.
Sure.
I'm a storyteller. But that's how the virtual ones were born. We had so many people that came to that networking room at eBay Open, just hundreds and hundreds of people that were like, oh, man, you're in Pittsburgh. I'm in Philly. I'm in Lancaster. I'm in York. I'm in Maryland. And so now we have the ability for everyone to come at least to that. Mm-hmm. And we don't pick topics or anything. We just, whatever people want to talk about, if you're struggling, questions, anything like that, we just kind of let the conversation go where it will. And then the 23rd of this month is our Goodwill trip. So we always meet at like this localized Goodwill Sundays. The 23rd is a Sunday. We meet at around 9:45, and we usually start at that one. It opens at 10. It's 99-cent day. There's a bunch of stuff that's only $1. And then if we're filling up to it, there's an Aldi's next door. So we'll go into the Aldi's and get some groceries together. And then sometimes we'll go out for lunch or drive to other Goodwills and do more shopping. It just depends on the day. And then our next lunch meetup is March 7th. It's a Saturday. We meet at 12:30. For 2 years, we've been eating at the same restaurant every time. And next month, we're switching it up.
Oh, where are you going next month?
To my favorite restaurant. It's a local place here called Burgatory. And they have such good hamburgers. It's me and Keith's favorite restaurant. So we're going to go there because it's next to a TJ Maxx and a Marshall's.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to do some retail arbitrage. So even though the calendar says, hey, we're just meeting for lunch, it's usually like, well, let's go next door and shop too, and let's do this. And it always ends up being more.
Sure.
Now, the virtual event, it says Mid-Atlantic Resellers. So, but can other people come in, or are you really
Everybody
trying
can
to-
come.
Oh, okay,
No.
okay.
No, I have friends from California that come. I have people from Indiana that come. Florida.
Okay.
It's
I was
kind
of wondering about that.
it's for everybody that wants. If you're looking, if you don't use List Perfectly, if you don't have a local group, and you want to meet up once a month with other resellers, everyone's welcome. I think StreamYard can only host like 20 people, or is it 10?
I don't know. We've had 5 at our max. So I don't know.
I think we were 12 last month, so we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah.
You said that was tomorrow night at 7, Starr?
Tomorrow night at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna check that out. I'll come and join you. So
the link is
seller events at ebay.com.
Yeah, I can quickly put it in the chat for you guys to copy and paste anywhere you want to.
Okay, good. Yep. That would be good. This way our viewers could also take advantage of that if they like.
There you go.
Awesome. Thank you. Now, can you just tell us a little more about your channel, Flippin Hippos?
Sure. So I started that so I'd been reselling for a year. I started it in 2018. And the job I did before was I was a caregiver. And I've worked in some capacity since I was 13 as a candy striper in and around nursing homes and adults with disabilities. Both of my parents worked in a hospital. I like to take care of people. I like to help people. And after a year of being home reselling, I felt lost. My kids are gone. They're empty. I'm an empty nester. So I'm like, I need something to do that feels at least a little bit like giving care or helping people. And so I started a YouTube, and it's definitely a teaching channel. Mm-hmm. I don't do any of the hype. There's no clickbait. There's no hype. There's no find this once in a lifetime item that no one will ever find for $1,000. There's none of that. This is the realistic reality of what you're going to find, what you're going to sell, what I find, what I sell. A lot of tough love. I don't think enough YouTubers give that reality. I think new resellers can come into this thinking just from a lot of the YouTube channels that I'm going to be a millionaire in a night and this is going to be easy. It's not one of the hardest jobs I've ever had. And I want people to know that. So I show a lot of the realistic reality. I teach. I do fun stuff too, and I talk a lot. It's one of the comments I get the most from rude people is you talk too much. Well, it's free. So my channel, and you're watching for free. And if you want to learn how to clean your plush, you got to listen to my story about how I went to the store.
Welcome to not join in if you choose.
Yeah. So I do a lot of what solds, like bolos, top 10 Build-A-Bear on eBay. We have guides that we sell that we actually started in 2017 for ourselves as we were learning. We're self-taught. So we would go and buy to the Benz and to the 99-cent day, buy like hundreds of items and bring them home. And Mr. Accounting, Mr. I love spreadsheets. I don't know why or how, but he does. Everyone's different. He's creating all these spreadsheets with math for the sell-through rate and the average shipping price and the cost and if it's a bolo, if it's poop, if you need to avoid it. We call bad items poop, by the way. There's bolos, there's bread and butter, and there's poop. So we created all these guides, and then after like a couple of years, I'm like, why aren't we selling these? This is really good information. So yeah, we have one for jeans, one for clothing, and one for plush. Yep.
And I know you do one every year for each of those. Like, so you constantly keep it updated, yeah.
Because I use it. It's for us. We use it when I'm out thrifting. I need to know what the sell-through rate is and what my, I have pricing lists in there and everything. So we actually use them. So it has to be up to date because it's for me.
Yeah, that's right. And to your point about the $1 million bolo, like I've literally heard you say in the What Sold videos, okay, you're not going to find this. I happen to find, you're keeping it real like that. Because with as much inventory as you get, you're going to find a banger every now and then. But I've heard you say like, okay, you're probably not going to find this, but you know, I'm going to tell you about it, but this is not like something that's going to be out there.
Right. Yeah. No, I try to be as honest as possible and transparent.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not, I mean, I have 5,200 active listings now.
Dang.
On eBay and Poshmark. A little bit less on Mercari because we broke up last year. So I have like 5,000 on there and I left them. And if they sell, that's great, but I don't list new.
Okay.
And Etsy, I'm still growing. I got like 300, 400. But we're high volume, bread and butter. I got 99-cent day in Pittsburgh, blue collar town. I'm not finding bolos here. I sell Walmart jeans. I sell plus size Walmart jeans for like $25 that I pay $1 for. It's what I get realistically. But because I buy so much wholesale too, like you said, I find bangers once in a while. But I mean, when you're paying $1 an item, even wholesale, you're getting bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
But it's consistent. I mean, you're a high volume seller? Is that the term you use for? Yeah, you're a volume seller. Yeah.
I always tell people bread and butter pays my bills.
Mm-hmm.
And my business model may not be for you, but it's what works for us.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what's important. There's something for everybody. Now, can you tell us the name of your Facebook group?
I have two. I have Flippin Hippos Reseller Pod, and that's for resellers, mostly subscribers from YouTube come over there. And then I have the Mid-Atlantic Online, which is all the same people pretty much.
Okay.
It's all my friends.
I knew about the Flippin Hippos one, but I just now learned about the Mid-Atlantic one. So yeah, so you have two groups. So, but is the one is more focused probably on the meetups?
Yeah, I really just put the events. I put events in there, and like when there's no shipping, just to remind people. That's pretty much all I post in there. I'm in Flippin Hippos every day, posting stuff and keeping people up to date. And I do a YouTube video almost every day, so I put that in there.
Nice.
Okay. And then where else can we find you?
TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I have a Facebook page. I'm Flippin Hippos everywhere. I did really good job at branding.
Yay!
So you go on any platform, look for Flippin Hippos. And if you are a reader or you like books, I have a book talk. Flippin the page.
Okay.
Okay.
And I just review books and talk about nerdy stuff over there. But
no, is that YouTube, Facebook? Where is that?
I did like hold my spot on all the platforms because we don't know what's going to happen with TikTok.
Okay.
It may or may not say, but I'm really only active because the book talk community on TikTok is such a really, it's to the book nerds what Liz Perfectly is to the resellers. I think the community is just so great. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm everywhere.
Okay, and it's all Flippin Hippos. Okay. Okay. Did you have anything else, Mike, that you wanted to ask?
No, well, actually, I just had one question. It's kind of a little off topic. I know that you faced off against Kat in Dominic's thrift battles, right? And that was a fun series. I wish you would bring it back. Actually, he's getting a little bit more prolific with pushing out the videos lately, Dominic. I don't know if you noticed, Mary. So just tell us a little bit about that experience. I know you didn't win because Kat went to the finals with George.
Yeah, Kat beat the snot out of me. She brought better plushies than I had. Cheater. No. We're really good friends, me and her. So she won. She brought these really great plushies. And then she had me on her show. And then we met at camp. But it's really funny. And I think she'll be okay with me telling the story. We kind of approached each other at camp and kind of were like, I wasn't sure if I was going to like you. Like we both weren't sure if we were going to like each other because we felt like we were so much alike. Personality wise. And 10 minutes later we're on the couch in the lobby like we've known each other our whole lives.
That's how it works.
Besties, man. Yeah. So now we're really good friends. She even invited us to stay at her house during the hurricane the one year when we still lived down there.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah, we weren't in the path, so I'm like, we don't really need, but if we have to evacuate, definitely I'll take you up on it. But yeah, she knew what she was doing. She must have researched me because she brought better plushies than I had.
Yeah, she was good. I think if she had not faced off against George, the antique nomad, in that final, she would have went all the way, because that was a great show, that final. I think
that was a fun series.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah,
maybe you'll do it.
I
again.
will also put out there, I misunderstood the rules. I thought it had to be something you thrifted that week.
Oh no.
No, it could be. And I had better stuff, but I brought the jelly cats that I found that week, and I had better stuff.
Oh well,
but that's okay.
Bummer. Well, if he brings it back, then, although he focuses more on estate sales now, obviously.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll get another chance.
Yeah, I think everyone's done a pivot. Like Wade's Ventures was one of the first channels I was ever on. And in fact, you guys may know I'm the plushie queen. Wade gave me that title.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Me and him had a plush off on his channel. And then he admitted that it was his daughter's or his wife's vintage plush, and he didn't really win. He's like, she's got the crown. But now he's doing mostly storage units. Like, right. I think everyone's I don't do live shows anymore with guests. Mm-hmm. And I used to every week.
Doing those.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think it just gets to a point where when you're a reseller and the content creator, there's a lot on your plate. And when you do the live shows, it adds even Kat will tell you, it's a lot. It's a lot. And she's got moderators to help her and stuff, and most of us don't. You got to do 2,500 jobs in one day. It's a lot. Mm-hmm. And the live shows, you're always relying on other people being on time. And
yeah, that's
challenge. I'm aware of that. I'm learning that now. Mary and I are pretty much newcomers to this whole YouTube life, and we're learning. But and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But you're absolutely right as far as the time it takes to devote to it. My eBay business has certainly been suffering a little bit since I've gotten establishing myself on YouTube. But I'm getting back on track. I did about 10 listings already this morning, so I'm back to my normal, listing pace.
Well, when you get a good routine in place, and that's what I love to tell people.
Yeah.
When you get a good routine in place, I can credit most of my success to List Perfectly. And I said that in the video when I said Keith went back to work. Without List Perfectly, I could not do this without him, because it builds my listings for me and everything. And all I do is take the pictures. But I still have a routine in place for that. And I have a day that I film, and I have, surprise. I might put out a video every day, but I only film one day a week. I just keep changing my shirt.
But you're batching. I mean, it's
batch work. So once a week, I do full face makeup and actually do my hair. And then I just film a bunch of videos and change my shirt.
Smart. While the camera and all the equipment is set up, that makes a lot of sense. Right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I know that that's the day I'm not going to really get a lot of other stuff done. But I also, my listings on eBay are scheduled out 21 days ahead.
Oh, you batch them. Yeah, you do put them, you draft them, and then they just, you schedule them automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. You just keep on making sure that your drafts are full.
So right now I'm scheduled through March, I think 14th was what I put up this morning. Mm-hmm. So if I skip a day, I'm okay because I'm scheduled. And I'll tell you how we came to this conclusion real quick. I know you guys are trying to wrap up. Another story time. Really important, I think, to build up these banks, if you can, to schedule yourself out on eBay ahead, or just to have extra photos or extra listings ready. And again, List Perfectly helps me do all that. Because back in 2023, around October, when our old car broke down and his grandfather was in the hospital and a bunch of stuff happened to us out of our control. We had no control over what was going on. We had a 2-week period where we could not work or list. And it really hurt. And I said to him, there's 2 of us and we have List Perfectly. Why the heck aren't we set up to deal with days like this better? It's not like we chose to play hooky. It was out of our control.
Right. It happens. It can happen anytime.
Yeah, it can happen to anybody. Anything can happen. So now we have really healthy banks.
Good. That's important because listing is the lifeblood of your business. That's for sure.
Yes. You have to do 3 things. That's what I tell people. You have to ship, you have to list, and you have to thrift. And at the end of the day, until April 15th, those are the only 3 things that you have to do. Now, I do recommend filing your taxes on time so you don't go to jail. But the rest of the year, you only have to ship, list, and thrift. Everything else can fall to the wayside, and you can pick it up later. If your office gets messy, if you miss a YouTube video, if you don't post on Instagram today,
that's the end of the world, right?
Make sure you list, because that's the end of the world.
Yeah, sure. That is some great advice, Starr. Thank you.
So you just have the listings created and then they are scheduled to just drop out of List Perfectly?
No.
eBay does it automatically.
Okay, I didn't know. I didn't
schedule like 10 to 15 a day, 21 days. But in List Perfectly, I have 250 listings built that tomorrow morning I can just click and push out to eBay and put them on that 21st day. And then I have 300 other listings that are just photographs that I will work on building this afternoon after we're done here. And then tomorrow's Thursday, so I usually film on Thursdays, and Fridays is my photo day.
So you have backups to your backups. That's smart.
Yeah, I have 3 banks. I have my eBay schedule, my already built, and listings that are just photos. But the AI has already run through them, so all I have to do is proofread and put my pricing in.
Nice. That's a good system.
Yeah. And then taking over Keith's business, I keep pointing back here. That's his laptop. Full transparency, he never used List Perfectly, and he never liked it. So on his laptop, I have like 300 comics and about 200 other various electronics that he had photographed and put on his, that he listed from. I'm running them through List Perfectly to put on his eBay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
eBay. We have a public and a private, and over the last 5 years, somehow mine became mine, the public became mine, and the private one, because that's where he was listing his stuff that I don't want to show on YouTube. So, but yeah, we both just built up huge banks because we learned that life can happen, and it is the end of the world when you don't list. Ask me how I know.
You have done that, right? Yeah, we all have, I think.
Yeah, a couple of times, like when we moved, and sometimes delisting, relisting can help keep your store active if you can't list, but sometimes you're in a situation where you can't even do that. And also make sure. Let me give out one more piece of advice.
Please.
This is my favorite one. Make sure you have such a good inventory system set up that if something happens to you and you end up in the hospital, anybody else can walk in here and do your shipping for you.
Right. Yeah. Good SKU system for sure. That helps.
Yep. You need to be able to have somebody else take it over if they had to, because I think that would kill your business more than not listing if you were shipping late and getting all the defects and everything. So
yeah, not shipping is
those defects, and if you start canceling orders, eBay will suspend you in a blink of an eye.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's my livelihood, and I like to eat. I don't know about you guys, but I like to eat and pay my bills. So
I don't want to mess with that. That's for sure.
Yeah, that was a lot of good information. I mean, a lot of good information about meetups and just tips in general. So yeah, we really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to come and hang out with us.
Yeah,
no, thank you for asking me. I love to talk and teach and give my little bit of wisdom.
And yeah, please go subscribe to Starr on Flippin Hippos YouTube channel and anywhere else she is. She seems like she's everywhere.
You got to be today.
And then can you give us your code one more time for List Perfectly?
Flippin Hippos.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll give you 30% off your first month. And if you don't want to use it to list your cross posts and you just want to come try out the parties, I think the basic plan is like $29 a month. And that to me is worth it. That's $1 a day for 24 hours worth of university and meetings.
Yeah. Support. constant support. I like the fact that you could access the IT department. Talk about great customer service. I mean, you get into another situation where you have to try to contact. Like I had a little issue with StreamYard when we were setting up my live. So I tried, 12 ways to Sunday to try to contact the customer service department. And it took hours and hours. Fortunately, I had friends in the community who were able to help me out, because if I were to, if I had to depend on the customer service of StreamYard, and I'm not putting shade on StreamYard. I'm just saying that was just an example. So to have 24/7 access to the IT department, and works perfectly. Well, that's a great operation. It really is. I really applaud Claudia and Amanda. They're two classy girls. They got a great program there. And
yeah, the whole team is great.
Yeah.
And we should add, for those listening, everyone that works for List Perfectly is also a reseller.
Yes.
So there's nobody in that company that hasn't been in our shoes and doesn't know what we face and our obstacles and what we deal with. From the coders to the people that do their social media, everyone is a reseller, including Amanda and Clara.
Yeah.
And they know I think that's why the program works so well.
Sure.
Because it's resellers setting up AI. Their AI is better than EA, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
It's resellers doing things for the resellers to make our jobs easier.
Yeah.
And they know how to do it.
Just like eBay customer service. You call up eBay customer service, you're typically not going to get someone who's a reseller, and that hurts.
Yeah, they don't understand what we go through. They don't know, and all the other cross-posting services. And yeah, I will throw shade. I've been with List Perfectly since 2019, so I will throw shade on other cross-listing services all day. They are not run by resellers. They don't have good customer service. You get what you pay for.
Sure. Absolutely. They are the best. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to know. Well, yeah, thank you so much. That was fun. I'm glad I finally got to kind of meet you.
Yeah.
I've been following you since before 2020. Well, before 2020. Because that's when I shouted you out on Dave Ramsey, was in 2020. So it was well before that I was following you. So yeah, this was fun. Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you for thinking of me and having me.
Of course.
All right. So I guess I'm going to press the end recording button now. Starr, I want to thank you once again for taking the time and coming in. And Mary, thanks for hosting the show. You did a great job.
Well, I had a great guest and a great co-host, so thank you guys.
All right, take care, everybody.